Page 16, Tuesday, 14th of October, 1975, 0846. Decalogue, Instruction and Explanation of the 10 Recommendations, from a spiritual level near creation, received by telepathic transmission. Do not be astonished at the hearing of my words, which reach to you from out of a far higher positioned, swinging wave level of the spirit. My Wesen is released from the material, is genderless, and in the level of the relatively absolutely fulfilling itself being, within the love and the truth of the creation. So I will now be comprehensible in you. This happens out of a necessity, and from the occurrence that you have recently become capable of the reception of my words. However, since you research and thoroughly apply yourself to the truth, my form shall be explained to you, for the better understanding of your ways. Never and never, during the time of your present life, will you be capable of communicating with me, because your swinging waves of the spirit only live through the levels of the recognition and the understanding. That, however, is already very much greater than this is able to be shown by any other life form of your present time. Your achieved level, however, enables us to reach into you in order to transmit to you our message for the human beings of your world, whom I will address with my words, still to follow, through you and your writing itself. Understand, my Wesen has slipped away from the material and has entered into the levels of pure spiritual forms. My life is no longer based in the life itself. It has already become the advancing being, and thus to the genderless. My form is no longer subject to the positive and negative, no longer to the male and female. My form is the equalizedness, the genderless. In this form, names are no longer given to us, as this still applies in your level. But since you seek designations, because you still require them for your fellow human beings, I will give you a name for me. Name me, therefore, with the designation Petale. Why I speak to you and penetrate into you and your lower level with my words lies in the appearing necessity of the explanation of the values of the recommendations of the 10, which were handed down to you since time immemorial, yet, however, were very unreally evaluated. My penetration into you will only serve the values to explain to you the given recommendations according to their precise sense in a form that is directed to the human beings. Write them down truly, so in the future they will be of indubitable clarity for the human beings. The instruction of the values of the recommendations of the 10 applies to my task, which I alone have to convey to you. Thus, my penetration into you will only be of short duration, just long enough in order to grant the explanations to you. Afterwards, I will become silent again, and will only then again further initiate you into my instructions when important manifestations necessitate this. Already, around the turn of the present century, the attempt was undertaken by me to make myself comprehensible to a human being of your time, and to grant the person the instructions of the values of the recommendations of the 10. However, the selected form had failed miserably, and self-willedly altered and falsified the instructions. Her love of truth was caught up in the belief in her religion, and accordingly she falsified the instructions into unvalues of her cultish religion. Now, however, through the various values, it has become recognizable to us that through the time, an instruction, again in a new form, can become fruitfully transmitted through you in a true to the truth form. Our level is conscious that you, in contrast to other and previously sought out human beings, write down every word proffered to you, true to the truth, unfalsified, and true to sense, and likewise, truly further imparted. We became informed in regard to your mission from other levels. Thus, we now penetrate into you, through me for a short time, in order to grant you our instructions for the human being, in a form that directly addresses him or her. So then write down my words truly, in your truth-loving sense, and also spread them accordingly. Prior to the clarification of the values of the recommendations of the 10, I still direct the following explanation to the human beings, to whom you shall convey it verbatim. Human being, to you it is given the light and the life, which evermore introduces you into the ways of the truth. Therefore, maintain yourself in this light and in this life, so that you never deviate from your acquired way, which brings you ever nearer to the creation. It is the universal creational love which has brought you thus far, that you have recognized the creation in its never-fading light, and which will bring you to the level where you shall see the creation and the great times. And even if this is still not clearly graspable for your present intellect, thus you will one day see that nevertheless it is so, as I say to you. Therefore also never conduct yourself sedately, rather explore further and deeper than what is revealed to you from life. Therefore never conduct yourself sedately, rather explore further and deeper than what is revealed to you daily from life. Because only in this manner alone can you unfold yourself still more deeply into the truth, if you are not content with what the days bring you. A wanting more, continuous researching and searching, readily bring elements to you that have the brilliancy of the creational love and the truth, and which spring from the knowledge and the power of the creation itself. Therefore, be active in the researching, searching, and following of the creational recommendations and laws, which must be observed in all directions. For behold, when the creation committed its laws and recommendations of the nature, these were determined for all great times. These laws and recommendations given at the time have their validity for all great times, because in them all love within the universal of the creation is revealed in its entire scope. Therefore, you are solely on the right path only when you follow the laws and recommendations of the creation down to the last detail, while you adjust your entire thinking and researching, your searching and recognition, and your entire mode of life to these given laws and recommendations of the creation. You are misguided by falsified and truth-distorted writings. For thousands of years you have strayed on the way of the untruth and suffer beneath the burden of your confusions imposed upon you. Your writings hand down to you the recommendations and the value of the 10, but yet they speak not from the sense of their inherent truth. So I will explain the recommendations to you. Therefore, you understand their value and sense, and from now on, in every conceivable direction, solely only do what the creation requests of you through these recommendations. Therefore, you shall impress the words spoken to you here very deeply into your innermost commute life, so that in every second of your life you are conscious of whether you act rightly or unrightly in the sense of the creation laws and creation recommendations. If you proceed rightly now, then you will always turn to the creation with a grateful heart or sense. However, if you, in truth, recognize that you have made a misstep, even only in the slightest, thus your honest love for the creation will again and again show that the all-embracing and all-loving creation is real and guides you on the right way. You will recognize that understanding and truth can only be obtained with the creation. Yes, you will again and again be drawn to the creation and its all-embracing love and truth, until you are finally purified of the worldly and material, can show yourself before it, in order to one day enter into it itself, for all great times, in delighted joy and love. Behold, through the creation itself, you shall come to know all, how it has been, how it was, how it is, and how it will one day be when all human beings in all universes will live in the love, the truth, the knowledge, and the wisdom in the being of the creation and the laws and recommendations given by it. I say to you, very much will appear quite strange to you. Yet, as I say, so it is, for never and never have I seen, even only once, the untruth within the levels of the pure spirit, because within them reign only the truth, the love, and the wisdom, and the knowledge. If you attempt to keep yourself within the love of the creation, then you can do nothing without the truth which stands in the consonance with the given laws and recommendations of the creation. This truth rests within the recommendations and laws and the values of the 10, which I will explain to you from the highest level. Thus you will be introduced into the depths of the innermost spiritual life, so that you, there, where you still feel very strange, will very soon realize that you stand on the ground of the path upon which you should have walked all along. Therefore, do so, as I say to you. Keep a very constant guard over all your desires, so you never and never direct your eyes and your sense towards other things than to that entirely alone which steps forth from the love of the creation, the knowledge, the truth, and the wisdom. You shall live in order to remain preserving the life. However, you shall also live in order to also give the life to others, who appear to forfeit their lives through their false striding into an unreal evolution of false religions and their actions which are contrary to the creational volition. Yes, behold, I speak to you as your counselor and instructor, however, not as your judge and sentencer, because the spirit of the creation permits only instruction, however, never and never punishment and sentencing. And this is unreally taught by your religions. The creation has everything pertaining to the life in rich fullness within itself. Therefore, realize the controlling or venerable value which is contained in it, and in my words offered to you for all great times. In the creation, all lives in all, in order to give that part to all, which their love for the creation lays claim to. If the love for the creation exists in great magnitude, thus the part allotted to you will also reveal itself in the same great magnitude. This is truly so, what I, your instructor, say to you, which I speak to you in never-fading love. This much I want to explain to you today. My next address will be clothed into words of the explanations for the elucidation of the values of the recommendations of the 10. This I say to you in truth.